Hello, everyone, and welcome to our 2021 graduation ceremony. My name is Christine Lover, and I'm honored to be the senior class president. Now, everyone, please rise. Gentlemen, please remove your hats as our select choir sings the national anthem. After that, please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. You may be seated. This has been a long-awaited achievement for the class of 21. I'm beyond proud of every accomplishment this class has worked for and obtained, every adversity we have overcome, and the unbreakable bond that we have created over the last 13 years. I would like to state our appreciation and gratitude to the Sandy Valley staff that made this day happen. I would personally like to thank Mr. David Fisher, Mr. Doug Needing, our Board of Education, Mrs. Claire Canott, our school counselors, Mrs. McCoy and Mr. White, Mrs. Morris, our custodial staff, Mr. Evans, Mr. Pomeski, Mr. McCann, Mr. Reason, and of course, last but not least, our principal, Mr. Matt Whitten. Thank you all for your dedication to Sandy Valley. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce our select choir as they perform Until We Sing Again.
All you
Thank you, Mrs. Humphrey and the choir. Awesome job. It is my pleasure to introduce the Vice President and dear friend, Hannah Peterson.
Thank you, Christine. I have the high honor of introducing to all of you our administrative staff. Our Superintendent of Schools, Mr. David Fisher. Our Board of Education, President, Mr. Dennis Corsi, Vice President, Mr. Ike Winters, Board Member, Mr. Scott Bowman, Board Member, Mr. Steve Pomeski, and Board Member, Mr. Joseph Wigfield, and Ms. Tricia Schreffler, Treasurer of Sandy Valley. Our school administrators, Mr. Matt Whitted, our high school principal, Mr. Jeff Wagner, assistant principal, Mr. Garth Evans, assistant principal and athletic director, and Miss Melissa Keel, middle school principal. To begin our ceremony, I would love for all of our seniors who earn cum laude, magna cum laude, and summa cum laude to stand up to be recognized with a round of applause. Congrats and great to all of you. Now I would like to introduce my dear friend and our class secretary, Miss Abigail Stremo.
Thank you, Hannah. I have the pleasure to announce that this year we have 4 outstanding and deserving valedictorians. They are Andrea Frank, Christine Lauver, Alexis Rohr, and Regan Zender. How about applause for these fantastic young women? To begin, our first speaker is Andrea Frank, my childhood best friend.
Good afternoon. It is with great honor that I'm able to address my classmates and all in attendance for this amazing milestone in our young lives. I'd like to begin by thanking the teachers, staff, and administration for always going above and beyond to take care of our class. Your endless efforts to make our education enjoyable while preparing us for the adversities life has to offer has never gone unnoticed. I'd also like to thank the friends, families, and mentors of the class of 2021. It's because of the morals that each of you instilled in us that has allowed us to persevere through the most unprecedented of times and continue to lead with pride. I've had the great honor of watching my peers grow into the young men and women we've turned into today. Each of us have found our own passions, and we continue to teach and learn from those around us with skill sets different from our own. To the athletes who continue to teach us the importance of physical and mental health, through the passing of Coach Haney, to the cancellation of our seasons, your mindset is unstoppable. To the artists who opened our eyes to the idea that art comes in many different forms and dedicated themselves to expressing their creativity, your imagination has no limit. To the musicians who continue to create harmony day in and day out and fill our hallways with school pride and cheer, your talent is inspiring. Oops. To those who plan on serving and protecting our country through the military, your bravery is honorable. And finally, to those who did everything in their power to make it to this day, your hard work has paid off. Although today is the day that we will receive our diplomas and finish our final chapter of high school, it is merely the beginning. The world is now our own to do with what we please. With this newfound freedom, it is important that we put the skills that we learned during our time here to good use. The foundation that we spent the past 4 years building are ones that we worked hard for, so I encourage each and every one of you to never stop learning. Continue to learn from those around you whose skills are different from your own. Allow yourself to engage in conversation that makes you question everything that you thought that you knew. Make yourself as uncomfortable as possible, as often as possible. For these are the moments that will allow us to grow. No matter how far away we stray from Sandy Valley, we will always have the valley to thank for the lessons we learned inside and outside of the classroom. Thank you. With that being said, I'm now honored to introduce my co-valedictorian and longtime best friend, Christine Lauber.
Hello. I've already extended countless thank yous, so I'm just going to get into it. The definition of a mosaic is a picture or pattern produced by arranging together small colored pieces of hard material. I've always been fascinated by mosaics, the way small pieces of material fit together to form a larger picture, and I got to thinking about the larger picture that's been created by my time at Sandy Valley, from small moments, experiences, and people over the last 13 years. Well, I laugh when I hear 15 more minutes because of Mr. Schwall's ridiculously precise time test. I love Hamilton because some of the most creative people I've met within those four walls introduced me to musicals through their love and dedication to high school theater. I think Fridays are awesome because Mr. Reinbold drilled that into my brain with some help from Carla Zeus. I make songs to remember things I learned in class, such as the amendments in Mr. Reason's AP Gov, because that's how I learned in elementary school, and that's how I continue to learn to this day. I find humor during what should be quiet study halls and mundane lunches, because my friends are nothing short of comedians. I try to never use filler words in my speeches, because Mrs. Kale and Mrs. Morris informed me that having confidence in my speech does not include countless ums and ers. I arrive early to school every morning just to sit with Coach Lee and Coach Howard so I can soak in a little bit of their wisdom, as they would call it. Because I know after I graduate, I won't get a chance to laugh at their dumb jokes or astound them with my pure athleticism. I'm a terrible artist, and I'm okay with that. But I always try to create something different and unique, because one time Mrs. B told me that authenticity was one of my best attributes, and I try to stay true to that in and outside of the art classroom. I am notorious for discovering obscure words and incorporating them into my everyday lingo, because my best friends are so incredibly perspicacious. Well, I mean smart. And I try to stump them with my new vocabulary. I have an unwavering appreciation for peptide bonds and their ability to connect amino acids because Mrs. J explained them so thoroughly enough for me to get an acceptable score on my AP Bio test, despite my clear lack of scientific knowledge. I go to the library almost daily, and it's not because I'm a huge bookworm, but because Ms. Traxel has become an amazing role model and friend to me over the years. I try to compliment everyone around me because when the sadness that accompanies a bad grade on a test sits in, or the embarrassment that follows spilling my drink down the hallway, all too often, my best friends always remind me of a few things that they love about me, and that fills me with confidence. And that confidence is a feeling that I want to share with everyone. I give advice to all of my younger friends, whether they ask for it or not, because I've been in their shoes. And I know how to convince Mrs. Motts for just one more day on test review, which stall is the cleanest at the lunches, and where to find the math book that has just a few answers scribbled in it, and everything in between. I love school because I went months without it last year, and I have gained a new appreciation for learning in general. And finally, I love Sandy Valley because it has given me all of you. I saw this idea the other day about how human beings are comparable to mosaics, and it got me thinking. I finally came to the conclusion that I agree. We are all like mosaics, but instead of colors, it is moments, experiences, and people that create our masterpiece. This is my mosaic. It is composed of moments big and small, new knowledge gained, and friendships that have deepened my emotional connections and expanded my once narrow horizon. You have all been instrumental in creating my mosaic, and whether you like it or not, I've been a part of yours. Regardless if it was a passing glance in the hallway or a friendship that was forged 13 years ago, all of you have made me who I am today, and I am forever grateful. All of the things that I love, that I am, and that I have learned started with this wonderful community that God gave me. Thank you, Sandy Valley, for being my biggest blessing in creating this masterpiece of a class, each with their own unique mosaic. Thank you. And now, I have the honor to introduce co-valedictorian and my dear friend, Alexis Rohr.
Class of 2021. When I reflect on our time in high school, I think of a quote from Allison Knoll. She wrote, "Our past may shape us, but it doesn't define us." To be honest, I found myself writing this speech on very late notice. It is not that I purely procrastinated, although I often did that sort of thing in high school, but rather, I guess, I didn't really have much to say. I am sure we will all hear the obligatory "you did it," congratulations, and way to go that we give out every year. However, this is our year, these are our congratulations and our accomplishments. Now, there could be something to say about how the process of this last-minute speech came to be. I think it's a lot like high school. I stressed, I cried, I definitely procrastinated, and I still somehow came out with a pretty big award. But does being valedictorian make me someone different? Does it change anything? No. I am still Alexis. I am still the one who struggled so hard to write this speech, who struggled with self-doubt during all of high school, and am someone who doesn't like to talk in front of people. But here I am. And I am still your peer, the one who you all passed in the hallway at some point in time, the one you have seen, or one of the ones you passed and didn't see. But I need you to know I see you. We are at the finish line. We are all here together. I think it goes without saying that we have faced a lot this year. But despite all of these challenges, it was honestly one of my best years yet. It was one of my best years because I realized that high school doesn't have to define who I am, and it doesn't have to define who you are either. At the end of the day, it does not matter what things you did in high school, whether you thrived in sports and knew everyone and got to do everything, or whether you sat on the sidelines and felt on the outside of it all. No matter how you felt in high school, no matter what year was your best or even your worst, it no longer defines you. High school is just one step in the journey of our lives. Winning an award, not winning an award, being top of your class, or struggling with workloads to just finally reach the finish line. We have taken all of these steps on this journey together. We are all the same. No matter who you are or what you choose to do, know that your high school experience only defines you how you want it to define you. It is from this point in the journey that we all thrive and that we all soar. My hope for you, Sandy Valley, class of 2021, is happiness and peace. So here are your obligatories. You did it. congratulations, and way to go. Thank you. With that, I would like to pass it over to my wonderful co-valedictorian, Reagan Zender.
I know you guys have sat through 3 of these already, so hang in there. Those of you who know me know this will be a miracle if I can get through this without crying. Hello and welcome, classmates, parents, teachers, and friends. My name is Reagan Zender, and it is my great honor to stand here before you all today as a co-valedictorian of a very special senior class. As a grade, we have broken athletic records, put forth academic excellence, and thrived in the arts department. I'd like to give special thanks to my parents for all of the sacrifices they made for me to be where I am today. Throughout my life, my mother, father, and siblings have been a powerful source of encouragement for me. I thank my friends for the unconditional love and support they have provided me with. I'd also like to thank Mr. Fisher, Mr. Whitted, Mr. Wagner, Mrs. Keel, and Mr. Evans for their unwavering dedication to the school and its students. In a few short moments, we will be receiving our diplomas and celebratorily throwing our caps in the air. While I, like many of my peers, have anticipated and dreamed of this day for so long, when I sat down to write this speech, I found myself at a loss for words. How do I possibly condense the last 13 years of my life into 3 minutes? I set out to write this speech with one thought in mind. Every great speech tells a story. What was mine? 1,370 days. That's how long we spent as high schoolers. Within those 1,370 days at Sandy Valley, I learned many things. Treat others the way I would want to be treated, and as promised by Mr. Litterdale, good things will happen. I've learned per Mr. Whitted that birds of a feather flock together. I've learned from Mrs. Lewis to follow my dreams, from Mr. Carnes to believe in myself, and from Mr. Schwall that even I can do math. In 1,370 days, I have walked the hallowed red and gray halls hundreds of times, spent countless hours at play rehearsal and the Performing Arts Hall, and formed fervent friendships. My time at SV has shown me the importance of having a close-knit community. When tragedy strikes, we rally together to lift each other up through challenging times and emerge stronger. We have faced devastating losses and celebrated successes together. Cardinals show strength through adversity. I've made such amazing memories and connections with people who have graduated years ago and with people who still have years to go. This school year, as we know, has been undoubtedly unprecedented. The first year, my locker has been decorated and adorned with extra face masks hanging from the coat hooks. Despite the difficulties, our community powered through. When life becomes difficult, people often tend to give up. However, my experiences at SV have taught me lessons in accountability, commitment, and that no matter how big or small the struggles we face are, we come out on the other side as better people. Though it can be hard to imagine that there is a lesson in every struggle, difficulty leads to growth. Life presents us with many challenges, and these teach us strength and better relationships when we persevere through them. It is difficult to imagine that we have already taken our last high school exams and experienced our last Friday night games. It is hard to imagine closing our lockers for the final time when it feels like just yesterday I was learning how to open mine. We have seen each other grow up, and from this point on, we will all continue down different paths. Some of us have decided to pursue a college education. Some of us will continue into the workforce, and some have bravely decided to serve our country in the armed forces, and we thank you for your service. It is difficult to imagine walking the halls one final time, hugging the teachers we've spent years of our life with goodbye, and packing up the last 18 years of our lives. To future Cardinal graduates, hold on to these memories and cherish the one more times, because before you know it, they will have turned into one last time. I have thought of the last 4 years as a book that I never wanted to read the last page of, and here we find ourselves in the final chapter. For that, I have each and every one of my K-12 teachers to thank. You have all impacted me more than you know. To To my fellow classmates, peers, and friends, I say, in the words of Henry David Thoreau, go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life that you have imagined. A lot can change in 1,370 days, but one thing will remain the same. Once a cardinal, always a cardinal. Thank you.
I have the honor of introducing our next speaker. This gentleman led us through a challenging year with a positive attitude and mindset. He did his best to make sure all of us were safe every day and had the opportunity to attend in-person schooling all year. He tries to hold us to the highest level and is a very key element for us being here today. It is now my privilege to formally introduce the Superintendent of Sandy Valley Local Schools, Mr. David Fisher.
Thank you, Ms. Stremo. It's with great honor that I get to give my remarks to the class of 2021. What a historic year for an historic graduating class from Sandy Valley High School. As a former history teacher, I often wonder what the future will say about this graduating class. First of all, we graduated in the midst of COVID. Some schools never open. Others open just to be closed weeks on end. However, we made it an entire year with never having to shut down. And that is a testament to you seniors and your leadership. What else will history share about this class? Did you know this is the largest number of students to graduate with cum laude honors? Or that athletically, we set playoff records in football, sent a record number of wrestlers to state, and had the best four-year run in school history in girls basketball. Academically, we had at least one student earn over 70 college credits while in high school. We not only had a repository Teen of the Month, but she went on to become Teen of the Year. We are sending 3 students to the military, and we have 13 seniors that spent all 4 years in high school band, and a senior who is the first in Sandy Valley history to win the Stark County Art Show at the Canton Museum of Art. What a truly amazing class all of you are. Finally, for the other Sandy Valley graduates here today, they can all speak of the new and the old buildings. But did you know the class of 2021 is the very first graduating class? All they know is the new buildings. These buildings are now 13 years old, and this class had the opportunity to experience every grade in these new buildings. Finally, I'm convinced that this class can handle anything thrown at it. This class ushered in one-to-one computing, Google Meets, Zoom meetings. I'm not sure about all your parents or grandparents, but when it came to TV, I was lucky to have PBS 3, 5, and 8. And if I tuned the antennas just right, maybe one extra Pittsburgh or Cleveland TV station. Now we have Hulu, Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus. I've lost track of how many ESPN channels there are. When I grew up, when I was a little boy, I was glued to the TV, hoping Miss Barbara would call my name. Some of you may remember Romper, Bomper, Stomper, Boo, Tell me, do. Magic Mare, tell me today that all my boys and girls have fun at play. I sat there and waited for her to call my name David, as if she could actually see me. What an imagination I had. What about this senior class? With Zoom and Google Classroom, I'm not as certain the class of 21 enjoyed knowing everyone could see you. As a side note, I appreciate that the Board of Education allows me to volunteer for the track team. So, as I use some of my track seniors, I'm not sure they enjoyed when their teachers called their names. I see you, Chris. I see you, Hannah. See you, Julie and Bryce are all logged on. Does anyone know about Caleb, Brock, or Justin Carl? Don't forget I see you, Orlo and Alex. Now come on, class. Please wake up and get off your Xbox. I think teachers being actually to see the students was a little different than my romper room experience. But here's what I know for sure. This senior class is special. And you entered today as students, and you will exit the stadium as alumni. And I know you are well prepared for whatever the world has to throw at you. Congratulations and good luck. It's now my honor to introduce our fearless leader, Mr. Matt Whitted, our high school principal.
As high school principal, I am thrilled to announce that the class of 2021 has met all of the requirements set forth by the state of Ohio and the Sandy Valley Board of Education and are prepared to graduate. Would Board President Mr. Corsi, Mr. Fisher, Mr. Wagner, and Mr. Evans come forward to assist in the delivery of the diplomas? Will the 9 summa cum laude please stand? Andrea Reve Frank. Christine Marie Laver. Alexis Marie Rohr. Reagan Jean Zender. Gracie Ann Evelyn Fryer. Mercedes Nicole Martin. Laveda Reed Maley. Hannah Reed Peterson. Tori Alana Sikafus. Seth Christopher Armstrong. Braden Patrick Ashton. Brooklyn Nicole Baldwin. Robert Michael Bartlett. Jacob Paul Beard. Brock Nicholas Beers. Jaden Michael Betts. Cameron Jacob Blair. Brock William Bowman. Jackson Travis Boyd. Michaela Lee Brooks. Catherine Elizabeth Brown. Grace Lee Carapides. Justin Eric Carl. Robert Joseph Carr III. Dakota Allen Charlie. Anthony Michael Chavez. Natalie Sue Chavez. Emily Mulver Civilek. Amber Lynn Davis. Hannah Nicole DeFord. Kaylee Marie Dennis. Autumn Marie Desiker. Nicholas Michael Dews. Chandler James Wayne Dickey. Cameron K. Drobny. Tori Ann Dudek. Donna Jean Elkins. Blake Edward Ellington. Brooke K. Elliott. Caleb Russell Everetts. Brooke Nicole Fisher. Reese Dale Franks. Shelby Marie Fraze. Megan Ann Gantz. Faith Christine Guide. Orlo Luke German. Haley Jane Graybill. Lauren Ann Greer. Trent Matthew Helwig. William Samuel Hibbs. Summer Rose Hill. Haley Marie Hinkle. Austin Daniel Hootie. Brittany Marie Jett. Morgan Catherine Johnson. Randy Allen Johnson. Christopher Marshall Kiko. Justin Lee King. Eric Matthew Kirkpatrick. Justin Israel Kirkpatrick. Iona Ann Lau. Raven Blaze Leach Lunsford. Aaliyah Ethel Libe. Ginevra Rosemarie Myriello. Susanna Gabriella Mariello. Audrey Jean Marks. Abigail Dawn Martin. Olivia Suzanne Maley. Madeline Grace McKelly. Samuel David Morricone. Victoria Nicole Morris. Juliana Faith Muller. Alexander Lewis Nelson. Kaylee Madison Nichols. Alton Giuseppe Perfetto. Alexander Robert Pomeski. Draven Allen Porter. Jenna Nicole Raderchek. Elijah Cale Rice. Cora Paula Roberts. Dylan John Rodriguez. Jordan Lee Rubel. Brady Ryan Russell. Thomas David Russell. Shayla Jean Sansick. Brittany Nicole Schillinger. Lance Andrew Shepler. Lillian Ann Shepler. Megan Riley Schisler. Wayne Allen Smith Jr. Raina Mackenzie Stadler. Bryce James Stanger. Averill Ann Stevenson. Alicia Ann Stratton. Abigail Elizabeth Stremo. Dylan Michael Van Meter. Bryce James Walker. Peyton Grace Walters. Devin Joshua Watkins. And Joshua Tyler Yaklin. At this time, I would like to introduce the 2021 class treasurer, Susie Mariello.
Hi, I am Susie Mariello. I'm the senior class treasurer. I have the distinction of leading the class in the traditional event that symbolizes the graduation ceremony. The turning of the tassel represents the end of our journey here and begins a new chapter as Sandy Valley alumni. This marks the start of our new future and opportunities. I'm excited to see all the things this class will accomplish. So now, students, will you please stand and join me in the first act of turning our tassels from right to left. Now, may you please rise. Gentlemen, remove your caps as we sing the Alma Mater.
As class president, this class would like to do something special this year. Instead of throwing our caps in front of the high school, we're going to do it right here on the field. Parents, please get your phone and cameras ready as we toss our caps into the air. Oh, scoot in.
Ladies and gentlemen, I proudly present the class of 2021.